Nerd Odyssey. We're here. 2025, Stellar Blade. I'm excited for this one. I got my boys with me. My boys, Slosser, Holland, welcome.
Yo.
Welcome back. It's good to be back. And I'm loving these game reviews because it's making me play awesome games. So
yes,
we're 2 for 2.
First off, what a year 2025 in gaming so far. Slosser, we were just talking about this. This is
have to say that,
dude. Unbelievable games.
Killer
I can't wait to see some of the Game of the Year reveals, and we're going to do our own Game of the Year reveal too, which should be cool. But for today, we're talking Stellar Blade, baby.
Just real quick, we are putting our boots on the ground and ripping through every single one of them.
Every single one, doing some New Game Plus.
Yep.
I mean, we're we're consumers. We're buying these games, or we don't play this shit for free. We're buying these games, we're putting the hours in, and that's how I feel like we can give an accurate review, because I just did Donkey Kong Bonanza, and man, Switch 2 price, $80,
not good.
Not worth it. But anyway, Stellar Blade, definitely worth it. Developed by Shift Up, published by Sony Interactive, initially released as a PlayStation 5 exclusive in April 2024. You've probably heard of it, but now just recently released for the PC in June 2025. Boy, what a journey, gentlemen.
What a journey.
So, quick summary, and you guys know my rule, so I don't have to tell you the rule. So, ultimately, as a quick summary, you play as Eve, the antagonist. You're looking good. You're looking real good.
Playing it for the game. Yep.
We played it for the story and not for the looks, okay?
Correct.
Just throwing that out there.
Disclaimer.
Disclaimer, yeah. But you're on a mission to stop these alien-like creatures called Natibas on a ruined post-apocalyptic style Earth. Very combo-heavy combat mixed with a sprinkle of some RPG elements in there. Very defensive play. I really enjoyed it. So, gentlemen, I'll start with my review, 1 to 10. We'll each go through our reviews, and then we'll get into some of the aspects like the gameplay, story, audio, graphics, etc. So I'll start. I got an 8.5 out of 10. Quite high for me. Fantastic gameplay.
That is high for you.
Yes, fantastic
gameplay.
I loved it. Fantastic graphics. It did fall short for me in some story and some character arcs. Lack of a true connection to the characters. I don't even know anything about Eve. I don't know about her personality or what the fuck she is. I guess
see both of her personalities are very nice.
Time out. There's a caveat to that because you didn't play the side quests.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right, Sloss.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Anyway,
you go.
You didn't get to know her. You didn't
you.
ask her about her favorite foods, and
I was just going for the gold. I guess you're right.
Yeah.
Play the side quests. I'm gonna go with the 9.2.
Damn. All right.
So you played all these side quests. So okay, hold on. So going into it, I'll hover in that same 8-ish range, right? And a strong 8. I would say, and sort of a strong 8.
Mm-hmm.
There were some weaknesses. I wasn't overly tempted to take on these side quests because at the end of the day, if we did it or you didn't, they did string together a lot of those kind of pieces, right? There were a lot of well-written pieces, and the stories off the dead body soldier or the dead soldiers' bodies and the town folk. They had memories, they had hopes, they had dreams, they had goals, and you were really kind of seeing that and seeing how all of that fell apart. So that was pretty legit throughout the whole way. I did definitely enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, we can hit all the story and focus on that a little bit more first. I mean, the side quest did do a good job of sprinkling in little lore pieces and expanding the lore. There were some where you would fight like an older monster that you had already beat, and they made it harder, and there was a story about how the monster got away, etc. But then I also felt myself like I had to go back to zones that I've already been in where nothing's changed. And like I kind of already ran through all this. Like, why am I going back just to get this one item, just to bring it back to this guy, just to get some gold? And then gold felt trivial because you only use the gold to buy consumables, which you can find throughout the game. But
I bought tons of ammo.
Yeah,
I was buying ammo left and right.
I did kind of feel that way. I felt a little rich at the end of the game just because I felt like I didn't need that much myself.
Exactly. I felt very rich by the end of the game. Now, I feel like the main quest is really where the story fell short. like I said with the story, I feel like the characters really didn't have any personality at all. Again, Eve, I just know that she doesn't like to get wet in the water. You know what I mean? I feel like I don't really didn't really connect with Eve at all, besides that she looked good. You know what I mean? So the story, and it was a cool idea. I don't want to get too much into spoilers, and I don't want to ruin too much with the quests or anything like that. But I feel like the story did a good job. The first half was a little slow, but then there were twists, there were turns that really got me intrigued and interested. But again, that lack of character connection, it just really fell off for me, and I couldn't really come back from it. You know, again, I unfairly compared these games to Expedition 33, which was like a 10 out of 10 story. You know, so is it fair to do that? I don't know, but it released in 2025. You know, it's released this year, so I'm going to compare it to it.
Yeah, it's on the slate.
Well, yeah, everyone's got to try. Everyone's got to try hard and listen. If they didn't do it, I did kind of see Eve as, she had some of those little characteristics, but to your point, maybe the personality could have been fleshed out a little bit more, right? She seemed a little bit somber, and maybe it's because of her role. She's a killer warrior. I mean, like maybe just because you kind of get jaded after being a warrior, seeing some of your, some of the people die alongside of you, being kind of slim in the unit. So that might do it, right? That might make her a little bit more stoic. But
Sure.
I do understand where you're coming from there.
And through those side quests, you learn that her whole world is ripped apart. Everything she's known about being this angel or this, cybernetic being who just goes around choppy, smashy, smashy. She's starting to interact and gain a personality and figure out like, oh, these people do have emotions and they do need help. So now that's where you put yourself into her. See, this is I didn't identify with her. I kind of felt with her.
You're a 7 foot tall, hot, badass chick who fights with swords
I'm a
too.
9-foot Asian space hunter. Yes.
Seriously, dude.
Right.
You could get under the rim and fucking dunk on Shaq and look great in spandex too.
But you start to feel for her about her whole world is shattered, and she's starting to uncover stuff about, it's one big grand conspiracy. At the end of the day, it's wild.
Mm-hmm.
It's
is
a beautiful story.
She is very, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, she's devoted to her mission. You know what I mean? And maybe they did that on purpose with her lack of personality, because she was like, yo, we got to stop these aliens, these Nativas. So I'm not trying to like mingle around here. You know what I mean? So she's very devoted. She was very hardcore about what she had to do. And, I admire that, right? But what it didn't do in the story, and where it fell short, it definitely made up for it in the gameplay. Awesome, kind of exploratory, not too open world style, but it had like these RPG elements. It was a third person melee, and believe it or not, a shooter as well.
Great shooter.
Great shooter. So geez, I want to talk about, let's talk about like the melee first a little bit. So it had amazing combos. It had a bunch of different styles of play. It was very defensive heavy.
Yeah.
You needed to rely on parries and dodges almost exclusively sometimes, especially at boss fights. Like if you didn't know the boss fight and know the mechanics, you can't go in there swinging. You absolutely will die. You have to learn how to dodge. You have to learn how to parry. And what is cool and I liked about this, and I want to hit on this before I let you guys go, is that there were certain mechanics where the enemy or the boss would almost tell you what they're going to do, right? There were these, a yellow light or yellow flash meant that it was going to be a totally, you couldn't parry it at all. The boss was coming to hit you. You couldn't stop the boss from hitting you. You had to dodge. A blue attack, you could blink to the side and get behind the boss. And then what was the last one? A purple attack. You could pulse and kind of counter. Yes. And with each of those, your timing had to be tight. You kind of had to be
very tight.
Yes, with these parries and dodges, which I really enjoyed. What you guys think of the combat?
I thought it was a beautiful combat system. Reminded me of Black Myth Wukong, one of my recent most favorite games of all time. So reminded me of that challenge. Just that reliance on the dodge. The parry, exactly to your point, that played a lot into it, but just the combos, honestly, the dodging the combos that made those bosses fun, challenging, and rewarding. You have to be into this. You have to like really kind of want those challenges, even though there is
Mhm.
a Hello Kitty mode on here, right? There is that, so you can kind of tone it down a little bit if you want. Not that
Yes.
I played it on normal this time, but a lot of challenge there, and the combos were sick at the end of the day. You could
They were.
string together a lot of really interesting combos and kind of get in there and mix it up. So I really did enjoy the variety by kind of the middle to the end of it, especially after you get that skill tree built out.
That's what I loved about the bosses, is that the bosses were hard, but they were reasonable. You
Yeah.
know, like once you learned their style, you could adjust your gameplay or combat to then beat that boss. And once you learn the mechanics and learn when to parry and dodge, you could beat that boss, you know? And that kind of goes into the skill tree, right? The skill tree was cool. It wasn't a skill forest, as we say in Diablo 4. You look at the skill tree in Diablo 4, like what is the Path of Exile? You're like, what the fuck? Yeah, what the fuck is going on with all this? It was simple. It was complex enough and simple enough. You could do dodge, you could increase attack,
Right.
you know?
It was very like, hey, here's your combo attack. And so the other cool thing is like different combos serve different purposes. One, if you wanted to get behind the enemy, you did this one. If you wanted to just go up and just heavy smash them, fucking heavy smash them.
Right.
Right.
Yep.
If you had the time for it and you had the damage and stuff. But some of those enemies, they would not, they're not just sitting around. They're very active, even just the common enemies. Right? How many times did you die to that dickhead? What were they, crickets or something like that with the fucking thing coming out the side?
Oh yeah,
I died
those
about
things fuck you up.
750 times of those sons of bitches.
Yep.
And
Yep, so true.
so each thing had its own thing. And yeah, the kind of skill map was more so, okay, you're gonna parry. Well, here's like couple nodes of like, hey, your parry window's a little bit longer, or you have a, increased damage after a parry. But to your
Right.
point with the lights and stuff, yeah, in the beginning it is very kind of telegraphed and you do see it. I don't know. Sometimes it kind of trips you up though, because you're kind of in the heat of battle and you think you see red, but then it's actually like a yellow attack, so then you get crumped up and you're fucking like
Yep.
And then some of those, and then those later bosses like the Abaddon or I'm trying to think the first big boy with the spirally head with the teeth as
yeah.
a head.
Oh my God,
the
yeah,
Giga,
okay.
the Giga, whatever. He's a bastard. He's just this like big ape.
Legus.
Yeah, the Gigas, and they are so aggressive the second time around. It is ridiculous.
Yeah, on the side quests. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Abaddon the second time around he reminded me of he was almost like a hyper extended version of like a Freddy Krueger. You know what I mean? Where he's just slashing you constantly, and he's quick, and he has electric, and he's doing 4, 5, 6, 7 attacks. Where he'll do like a hard attack, boom, and then he'll come by with a couple of slashes. Wait a second, come by with a blink, and then and you're like, okay, man, now it's my turn. You hit him for like 2 little dots.
Yeah, a crazy Freddy Krueger. That's a great analogy, I got to say.
I think I said Freddy Krueger.
Freddy Krueger. Yes. I don't know if you can say that,
blank
but
that one out.
I'll
Yeah.
blank that one out. Yeah.
It's back in 2025, baby. Let's go. No, I'm just kidding.
One aspect of the gameplay I really have to hit on, and I really enjoyed, was that as you continue to play, you learned new abilities, and the gameplay felt almost like variable throughout. Like at first, you're just hitting these combos, and then you learn your beta skills. Your beta skills are these AoE style or single target that kind of stun enemies. And when enemies get stunned, especially bosses, you get these huge damage payouts, right? So this beta energy was great. And then there's also, you learned, what was the burst energy you learn as well. And burst energy was fantastic. Another AoE style that you had to build up with combos and other things. So the gameplay was variable. And it wasn't that hard to master. Also in the skill tree, when you learned a new skill or when you added new skill points, especially with these burst energies and these beta skills that you learn as you continue to play the game, it gave you a trial. It lets you train. And I found myself training well, like, wait, hold on, let me master this a little bit, because if you're like me, you learn something, then forget about it. Because I know simple ass combos. I'll be like down, down, A. That's all I can
X X
get. So
X X
yeah.
X X. Yeah.
So I really had to master these, and when you did, man, it paid off, dude. It paid
It felt
off.
good. It was very flowy.
Yes, yes.
It was
Very
very
true.
flowy. Where
Very true.
you got into a rhythm where you were like, hold, press Y, hold X, X, hold Y, and you do this like crazy thing. You're like, oh damn! Then you just hit it with like a X X X X X.
Yep. It's true.
Super rewarding, all those dodges and all of those timings, by the way, that you brought
Oh,
up too.
And
Just
the
hitting
slow
those
mo.
and doing that kind of dodge behind them. It just felt so clean when you hit that, or you hit one of the purple dodges. Like it,
yes.
very rewarding when you kind of hit those on those moves.
Dude, the sound of the perfect parry, where it's like
Yep.
ting, and
Yeah.
you
Mhm.
hit that
Mhm.
and lightning comes out. When you hit those perfect parries and can counter, dude, I'll tell you what, it is very satisfying. That's what I love about this game. Is you play as Eve, she's looking good, you're hitting these combos, and when you're flowing, baby. You know what I'm saying? You're hitting these combos, you're parrying off. It is such satisfying gameplay. And again, I say gameplay is damn near a perfect score. That's one of the reasons this hit so hard for me, and I gave it an 8.5. Again, other areas it fell off we'll get into. But man, it just felt so smooth. Combos were hitting awesome, and we didn't really talk about the range. Let's quick hit on the range, because the gameplay I feel like we want to spend the most time on. The third person shooter, which you found yourself forgetting about. You were so used to the combo and so used to the melee that you forget about the shooter. And there was shotgun, there were missiles, there was a standard shot. But when you had that shotgun and you had missiles, I found myself coming back to that. Like
Yeah.
during boss fights that I was stuck on, I was like, let me just light him the fuck up for a
Yeah.
little bit, get some more damage on him, then I'll go in there.
And like the way she sat there, she almost looked like the dudes off the Olympics shooting, where she put her hand to the side and like put her arm up, and it was like boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, it's sick, dude. It was cool. Yeah. So we forgot about the shooter, but the shooter aspect was awesome. So
It was, and that shotgun turns into a super shotgun, and it is incredibly powerful.
yes, very, very good. Shotgun OP in that game, missiles OP in
Yes.
that game, if you could stock them up. Last thing in terms of the gameplay, and I guess you could argue this is kind of graphics design. So let's move on to more like graphics design, how the game looked, how the game felt, etc. First aspect I want to hit on is level design. I really enjoyed this aspect. You had your open world exploratory maps, like it made a desert look beautiful, where you could like, hey, here's a desert, go have fun. And then there was also a nice balance between the linear gameplay too. All of a sudden you were in these tight corridors, there was one direction to go, and you had to get there. So it balanced that mix back and forth, where I felt like I was playing Breath of the Wild, and I was like, holy shit, there's a whole landscape in front of me. And then also I was like, oh shit, I'm in a dungeon right now. So it was great on that sense.
It was very cool. It was very cool. Like I did enjoy the sewers. Yeah, so you come out of Zion and you get into Act 3, and you just go down into the sewers, and you're there until you're not. And it was kind of very cool the way they layered some of the secrets in there. With some of the bodies hidden, and some of like the little
Yes.
drop downs, and you
Oh,
loop
talk
around,
about
you
the
gotta go.
secrets. Yeah, there was different things you could get in that. So this game rewarded exploration so well. There were hearts that you could find, like spirits of a body that increased your energy, increased your health. There was what
beta
else,
energy.
Slosser? Yeah, like you could find crafting materials to
Yeah.
craft. That's a whole area we didn't even talk about. Like you could find stuff like that to craft in your RPG style.
Yeah, so you could find like, your polymer, your increased like polymers, your nano elements and stuff like that. That's where the side quests also kind of reign supreme. Is it gave you like a little bit of XP and gold and stuff, but it was more for the mats about getting all that stuff in.
Right. Yeah, you could craft gear, a little bit of RPG style, like we talked about, where you
Yeah.
could create some gear, create some part of your suits. You could change the way Eve looked
All the
with her
different outfits, the glasses.
outfits.
Yeah,
Yes,
dude, it
yes,
was so
exactly.
cool.
So there's a customization there as well.
And
But
look, hold up a second. Something on the outfits, though, just real quick, okay?
okay.
S-
Oh, okay.
Some of those outfits,
Yes.
let's just say they would put Shao Kahn's loincloth to shame, okay?
Shao Kahn's loincloth, dude.
Yeah, dude, it
Oh
was
man, what's that garden, right?
the physics were incredible.
Yes,
The
yes.
physics were fun. The physics were fun. To your point, the good outfit choices too, right? You could have some fun. Actually, believe it or not, my wife was loving some of the outfit choices too. She was like, "This is a lot of fun." So, there was enough that was you could kind of really lean into it, or you can have kind of a healthy balance there too.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And that goes into how the game looked, right? I mean, the graphics were fucking incredible. The good old look out on the landscape test, right? You're standing at a high area, you look out, how
Yeah,
does that look? Fucking beautiful. The
yeah, and that
graphics,
one,
the faces, the physics, Slosser, like you said, unbelievable.
and that one spot where you're heading up to space, and it's almost the developers talking to you, like, "Hey, man, just stop and look out and take a picture and just
Yes,
look."
yes. Yeah, as part of
Very.
the lore, like the little machine that's with you is like, look over there. That's part of the desert, or that's part of where Earth.
It was cool. It was cool.
It was. And in terms of performance, I mean, damn. So this now remind you, this was a PlayStation game first, which of course ran well because everything does on the PS5, right? The PC version has kind of been deemed through Reddit and a couple other reviews that I listened to but it's been deemed kind of the definitive version. The version,
Yeah.
definitive
Oh,
version. So again,
virgin.
this is an ongoing project since 2024, and man, it's sold well on the PC as well. It's got rated very high. Metacritic user rating 9.2 out of 10, 82 overall Metacritic score. So like on Steam reviews, which are tough, it got 9 out of 10. You know what I mean? So this is good. And also with PC, it has New Game Plus and it has some DLC now, right? That has the hard mode
Yeah,
and DLC.
and she's hard as
So
shit. That apparently
yes,
that girl is hard as shit.
yes. So I mean that adds to the replayability value, right? So I mean quite high. This is definitely going to be in my rotation, right? But in terms of the performance on the PC, dude, smooth as shit. Did you guys
Yeah.
have any issues?
No.
So slight. The issues were so slight on mine. There were some when we were kind of going down that one tube that there with all the blades kind of cutting up, and that one guy was chasing you down the tube. When I came out of that tube, my graphics would kind of glitch out a little bit there. So,
Hmm.
given that I had to fight that guy about 15 times, I had to experience that graphic glitch about 15 times.
I see. It
So
got old,
I
huh?
saw I saw that, and there was like one other time that but my rig is kind of like 2021 technology. So for what that's worth, right? But it was generally really smooth. It was clean. The graphics were very kind of spot on. I was very happy with it all. I thought it was clean, kind of grass. Your point, the desert was beautiful.
Yeah.
The sewer, the just kind of the whole view of Earth was very nice.
Yeah, it made sewers look good. And then there was
Yeah,
also a
yeah.
level where it was almost like it looked like Avatar, where like these lush jungles and stuff. Like, man, it really did well in this sense. I think it's one of the best looking games of the year so far, of the games we played, So I think it's up there. I think the graphics and performance, the level design, all that stuff I really enjoyed in conjunction, especially in conjunction with the gameplay and the combat, right?
Yeah.
Also, one thing I want to hit on is the enemy design. These Natibas, these alien
Ooh,
creatures we alluded to, they are fucking sick looking. There's so much
they're
variety.
gnarly.
Sasha, you said there's a cricket.
They're
There's ones.
creepy.
There's
That's
ones
right.
little like circle rotate, like rotating bugs that are in little circles, like wheel after you. There's these fucking massive bosses that are aggressive. There's a whole bunch of with a bunch of faces. You know what I mean? So the
They're
monster design,
unrelenting. Yeah, and they
yeah,
got
it was
teeth coming
cool.
out of their heads. There's blood spewing out of places. They
Right.
look like half animals, half like psychotic humans, which I mean, you said we're not going to get into spoilers, but there is one part of a side quest I do want to bring up. Just don't let me
Back
forget.
to the side quest, Slosser. Trying to rub
I
it in our
can't.
faces.
So no, but here's the thing: is you go
When
to
you actually play all the side quests, shut up.
I went. You end up going back to the second area, whatever I forget what's called, IDOS 43 or something like that. It might be Zion. I'm not too sure. Whatever it is, and when you first go through it, there's this like electrified water, and you can't go. You can only kind of go one level, and you hit all these construction zones and stuff like that. But anyway, you go back, and you end up having the code to the generator. Boom, you flush it, dude. You go down. There are just bodies on bodies on bodies, men, women, children, with the memory sticks pulled out of their head, and you come to find out, like, hey, it's a little bit too coincidental and a little too perfect that all these people died really without any kind of blood or anything like that. Scratch marks, attack marks. No, because you find out that they were all drowned.
Mm.
Right.
The game can be
So
dark, dude.
it was extremely dark, and then you get the whole religious aspect of it. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to divert.
Yeah, you know what? Quick nod to the story. Like you said, you could really get immersed in the game if you really dove into those side quests. But the story can get quite dark. It's the old AI man,
Yeah.
machine. What is right? Where's your moral ground in terms of what's right and wrong here? And at the end, I don't want to ruin anything, but you get to make a choice in that sense, which is cool. I really enjoyed that side of it.
Yeah.
But anyway, to move on, let's talk about the audio, the sound, and the music. Man, the music, dude. There was, when you're just chilling, walking around, this catchy elevator type music that was kind of like Japanese pop elevator music, I guess I'll say.
The game knew who it was. You know what I mean? Which is it's a good thing.
Yes. And you know what else I liked about this game in general? It said F you to the woke mobs, right? This isn't a woke game, right? Hey, they have an attractive female. They have attractive males in there. I like how it did that, and I like how the developers stuck to their guns with that, because people get crucified, and a lot of these developers do cave to the wokeness out there. So I appreciated that, and I'm happy that games are doing that now. But in terms of the set, so you have these Japanese pop style songs, and then you also, when you get to a boss, you're fucking rocking. It is heavy,
metal,
dude.
It's like metal EDM. Yeah,
dude, metal
crazy.
EDM mixed with elevator music when it's low key, mixed with techno, and you could change the music and stuff. So, man, it was cool. I liked the music. I liked the sound.
Sound was awesome. Music was awesome, and it did have this thing of like you're just like a Japanese little girl, like take a picture. That was like the whole thing. But then you get to the thing, and you're like, oh my god, an entire city was killed. It's like, oh shit, dude.
Wow,
and then,
it brings you right back down.
I know. Then you get to like fight a boss, and it's like, what? Like, okay, let's go.
So true, dude. It gets you jacked up, man. And like, I found myself on try 18 on a boss. Like, I keep dying. I'm getting frustrated, and I start the cutscene again. I skip the cutscene. I go right back in, and I'm right back in it, baby. I'm ready. I said, damn, I'm gonna hit these fucking parries now. And in terms of the sound, like I alluded to earlier, the sound of the dodges, the sound of the parries, and the combat, again, so satisfying.
To have that parry where it's you hit it and it's slow motion, you get your move off, and it's all in kind of bullet time, and then it sucks you right back. And then it's like, and then you're dodging, you're back on it again. And then you're pulling your gun out, finding out you have no bullets. You're thinking about what combo to hit. What do I do here? And then you're dead. and then you got
Love
to do it all over.
it. That sums it up, dude. That sums it up. You're feeling good. You're hitting combos, and all of a sudden the
Oh
boss
wait,
gets
I
a
don't
combo
have
on you.
shotgun shells.
Yeah, the boss again. Those boss fights were fucking punishing at times, but
They were
but
it was so fun, dude. It was
it
such a
was.
fun game.
It's such a
God.
fun game, dude. Holland, anything on the sound? Pretty much. Did we sum it up for you?
I honestly, I thought it got a little repetitive. I'm taking the other side of that. I
Sure.
ended up turning the sound off a little bit late, kind of mid game.
Oh,
Just because,
damn.
listen, I got lost in the desert a little bit, so I was kind of toning around that
You
and
weren't using your
goofing.
map, dude.
I know, relax,
Oh
relax.
my
I didn't use a grenade the entire game, by the way, because I'm,
Oh,
I'm
those
that guy.
grenades were
Yeah.
useless. They were.
Yeah, they were
Yeah, I didn't
so
use that, but I just couldn't figure out. I'm like, you press down? Like, what do you press? I'm like, all right, whatever.
That's so funny, dude. I can't believe you turned the sound off.
Yeah, I did. I kind of turned it down after a while because
Brutal.
it sounded like
Brutal.
a tiny bit repetitive to me, and I just like didn't really get into it. So maybe I
Alright.
didn't give it enough of a chance, but I turned it down and was was kind of distracting
He was
myself
looking
with
up
other
stock
things.
prices while he was playing the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, hey, to each their own, man. You know, to each their own.
Yeah. So I maybe I got to give it another chance, but somewhere in there, and also I think there's if you change the sound at all and then you kind of get stuck in one of those loops where you're just hearing the same stuff again, I'd never recommend changing the sound and going into the sound box. I think that's a useless feature. So my 2 cents, but
Yeah.
not from someone who's like crazy good at programming everything. Just your average gamer over here.
Just your average jag. Average jag.
Yeah, just your average guy tired at the end of the night. Being like, what am I doing? Where's the map? Why can't I read good? Where's
Average
the door?
average
How can I
jag gamer.
clean this train?
Yeah. He doesn't appreciate good music. No, I'm just not
I
fucking-
hate music. Play video games silent.
All right, so moving on, replayability. I talked about the hard mode. You know, you could there was an option when you beat the game, you get a new skin when you beat the game, and you could start with all the equipment and gear that you have accumulated and start the game over, which was pretty interesting. Slosser, you played around with that a little bit, right?
I did. Yeah, it was very extremely satisfying to, we always bring up Black Myth Wukong and the victory lap, right? It felt
The victory lap. Yeah.
it felt exactly like that because you're basically just going through and just whooping ass with your
Whooping
beta
ass.
skills. With your
Yes.
burst skill, with your beta skill, with your tacky skill. You're just
Yes.
kicking the shit out of things, and it's fucking awesome.
Yep.
It's awesome.
Yeah, tacky skill. That's another one. When I was talking about the beta skill and the burst skill, like those new things you get during the game that felt new and refreshing, was a tacky skill where you transformed a little bit. You kind of got a free health bar, so that was pretty cool as well. But yeah, replayability I think is pretty good. They have DLC now. So I didn't dive into that, but I sure will. And I appreciated that they're doing these things. And the PC, they've really done a lot of new things with the PC version as well. So again, yeah, that's going into the rotation, man. It's a good one. And if there's a sequel, we're going to be here,
We'll be playing it. We'll be putting another 90 hours into it. Yeah.
So overall, gentlemen, must play.
Go buy the game.
Can we
Yes.
hold on a
Go
second? Can
play
we
it.
just kind of discuss the themes going on in the game just right quick? Because I think that kind of contributed how cool it was, right? You had the whole
So the
biblical
themes, like there were
aspect of it.
different outfits, like some were kind of nightgown and some were Playboy bunny, those types of themes. Those were good, all good. Buy the game. Go buy the game.
There's your themes.
Anyways, if you're
go ahead,
looking for a great game that contains some biblical references, it contains some, kind of Terminator, like Dalt said, some AI stuff, some kind of moral quandary things. There's a bunch of different people who you can kind of side with, and they're not going to lead you down one path or the other, but you will kind of sympathize with them. And then the end is something akin to it's a very sci-fi trope, right? I think Dalt, you can attest to that, and it is very gut-wrenching. I will say I am going to
sequel. Yeah.
I do want to adjust my score because I think you did bring up some good points about kind of Holland, I do hear what you're saying when you kind of get into an area and it's like we just hear the same fucking song over and over and over, and you restart and it plays again and it plays again. That annoyed me. I'll go with like an 8.8. Yeah, 8.8.
All right,
I
solid.
think that's fair.
Yeah, so
But
I
it
think
was
we're in the same ballpark. I was 8.5.
extremely fun
Holland,
game.
you were 8.7 or something like that.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
I'm right in there. Yeah, right in there around that mid eights, mid to high eights. I think that's real fair. I don't necessarily put it like the only game that I had above kind of like a 9.5 so far has been Black Myth Wukong. And I just think some of the themes in that were just slightly better, just more up my alley. But this was badass, guys. Like, again, go buy the game. Go buy it, go play it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna dive in, and again, you're gonna learn these combos. You're gonna love the monsters. There's a lot of badass. There's a lot of gore. There's a lot of good graphical kills and challenges in this game that are gonna keep you coming back. I really recommend jumping in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a beautiful game. The characters are cool, the weapons are cool, the enemies are cool, the music's fucking awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. You guys summed it up. I mean, great game. I think it's a must buy. I think it's a must play in 2025. I didn't play the 2024 version. I don't have PS5. So I think it should have been in Game of the Running in 2024 if it wasn't. And I think it's even for the PC release, it's Game of the Year in running. I mean,
It
that probably
absolutely
won't.
should be.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a highly rated game, not just on our end, on other people too. You know what I mean? So I think we can all rule in Stellar Blade, and I'm going to rule out Donkey Kong Bonanza, despite what everyone else
Good.
says. It's
But
fucking,
the Switch sucks. Nintendo sucks.
yeah,
right
I can't
now.
wait to play Pokemon Legends. It's going to be great.
It's gonna be badass, but Nintendo are a bunch of dickheads right now.
Yeah, they sure are, man. They sure are. Well, Holland, Slosser, thank you both.
And I will say, just for a future episode, which we'll be doing very soon, will be Ghost of Tsushima. Because you want to talk about a game.
Yes. I can't wait.
That's a game. That's
Nice,
a game.
man. Very
Peace.
cool. Peace,
Alright,
love,
guys.
happiness, serenity.
Appreciate you. Yo,
Peace.
I appreciate you.
Easy, Delco.
Haha.